Alright, so this video will be creating a blueprint, so a readable note. So say we'll have a clue how to open our trap, little trap door or something. So we go up to the piece of paper or the poster, whatever it is, and we interact with it, and then we'll have a widget which will display our note to come up and give us a clue or hint how to maybe open this door, for example. You may notice from the last video, I just added that extra button so I don't get trapped in. Um, I left that out of the video just in case you wanted to, try and build it yourself, because it's great to, you like you might watch a video and then you might say, okay, let me try this out for myself. It's a great way of learning. Um, so you have to discover stuff yourself as well, but I can show you what that button is. If we go into the blueprint itself, yeah, I just called it, it's calling the, all it's doing is calling the close event for this. If I go to content, blueprints, we had it blueprint actors, and I just made it here. It's just a cube. I'm just saying get actor of class, which is the bookshelf, and then I'm calling the custom event open bookshelf, so we can get out that little room. So if you did want to know how to do it, that's all it is. Really simple blueprint, and it's just a cube. It doesn't have no animation or nothing. So you could add that the same way we did all the other animated objects like the bookshelf, the doors. You can do that yourself as well. Um, but yeah, it's just there just to get out of the room if you get stuck. Anyway, apart from that, anyway, let's get to creating our interactive note. Like, so we can have notes all over the map or whatever, and we can just read it and then come out. So we need to create a few assets. So I've gone ahead and I've made, maybe we're going to use some sound effects. So I created some of my own sound effects for picking up a note. So this is just the Dorito. Oh, I don't think you can hear the desktop audio. Let me turn this on. 1 second. There you go. So you should be able to hear my desktop audio, hopefully. And that's just me crunching a packet of Doritos, like you're picking up a piece of paper. Right? You can download your own sound effects from whatever source you feel like. I'm just gonna crop this. I'm using DaVinci Resolve. Again, you don't need to follow along. This is just an extra step, like how you can create your own assets. And if I go here, there we go. I'm happy with that. It's not the best in the world, but it does it. And of course, we can slightly fade that out at the end and at the beginning. So if I hit play, oh, maybe that's too much fade. There we go. So maybe when we pick up this the animation would trigger for the sound, the audio. So we play this sound. I'm going to disable the image. We don't need the image or the video of it. We just need the sound effect. And then all I'll do is just export this out. So I'm going to say delivery, and it should have audio only. And where is it? There's okay, I'm gonna put it here in music and call this paper pickup SFX sound effect. Maybe I'll put the SFX underscore paper pickup. Save that as that. Single clip. Audio. Here you go. We can do it as a wave or MP3. I don't know what's better. Let's keep it as wave. Okay, I'll leave everything as it is. Hit add to queue and render all. You don't need to do this. DaVinci Resolve is great. It's like a it's a free version. You can do a lot of video editing, cropping sounds, all sorts. I don't need to save this now. So all I did was film me crunching up a wrapper, and now we've got that. So if I go to my music video, a music folder, not a music video, here we got the sound. There we go. It's not the best sound, but it's a sound effect. All right. And what we're going to do is go into my content, create a new folder. I'm going to call this FF's sound effects, SFX. All right. And double click and drag this MP3 in. There we go. So now we have that wave sound file we can use later. You may also notice here I've created another folder in the content window called note textures, which is I've just created a piece of paper texture with a piece of paper texture, a paper texture, and I just put some text on it with a clue. Though silent I stand, my gaze holds the key. Turn my sight to set the secret free. So if you turn the statue's head, you turn because they're just standing there silently, and they're the key basically. And if you turn their head, it opens, sets the secret free, which is the secret door. Anyway, you can type whatever you want. It doesn't have to be a clue. It could be whatever. Anyway, and that's, you could use this. I'm using Affinity, which is great. I like to use Affinity because it's one-time pay. It's not subscription based. I sometimes only pay for Adobe when I really need it, but most of the times I'll use Affinity or GIMP, whatever a free software. Krita. I use quite a few different softwares. Is it Krita? This one's a great one. It has a lot of AI stuff built in. Yeah, Affinity Publisher, Affinity Designer, Blender, of course. Ventus is for interactive content and broadcast stuff. I use that for a lot. Anyway, I'm waffling on, going off subject. Anyway, so I just have my assets kind of created like that. So we've got a texture, and now we have a sound effect. All right, so we're going to go to, first let's start with building our note. All right, so we'll build a widget. It's going to be a widget. I'm going to right click, and we're going to go to user interface, and we want a widget blueprint. This will be for our note that will pop up. All right, and fill the screen. So we're going to go user widget, and let's call this, I don't know, read note or something. You can call it what you want. I'll call it read note. I think read notes makes sense, right? Anyway, double click, and you have nothing, you know. So we need to add a canvas panel. So you can just drag in a canvas panel. Boop. If you don't find, if it's not open, you can still type in canvas, you know, and then that'll create a canvas for you. And we need a blur background because we want to blur that. We want to take the focus away from the where we are in the room, and we want to just read the note. So, you know, so you can go blur, background blur, and drop that under your canvas. And then we is the image, right? So image, and the image can go under the canvas. Not make sure you don't put it in the don't parent it underneath that because it will blur the image. You want it under the canvas, right? Let me change the order so you can see. So it's under the canvas, but it's in front of the background. So it's structured like this. So canvas, background, image. Right. Now we want to center this to the center of our screen. So I'm going to change the alignment to 0.5 and 0.5 on the alignment. On the anchors, I'm going to hold Control and click this center one, which will snap it to the center. Now we can go to content, and we know I've got the texture already imported in, which is this. So I'm going to drop it into brush here, and this will be the image of our note. And I'll just kind of scale it up like so. Oops. Nice and big so we can read it on screen. There we go. Though silent, I stand. My gaze holds the key. Turn my sight to set secret free. Yeah, there we go. Also, I forgot to tell you. So we've just scaled that, but I forgot to scale up the blur. So you notice here, so that little corner would be the only thing blurred. So what we need to do is just actually extend this. Just I'll make it slightly bigger than the actual canvas, like so. And I'll set like it to about 3. 3, yeah, 3 looks okay. I like it. It's like you can see the grid here behind is blurred. If you was to put this image in the black background, oh, sorry, in the background, oh, it's not even doing it anyway. But behind it, sorry, you can see it blurs the note. So you want to make sure it's in front, and also don't parent it to that. So it's just separate. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, let's create an animation for this. So we want it to fly in. I'm going to have it come in from the left, or you can have it come from the right, bottom, top, however you want, or you can fade it in. Entirely up to you. To create an animation, we're going to this animation tab, and we're going to add an animation, and you're going to go, let's call this read note, and we're going to add our image, which is this. This is the image. Can we? No, I was wondering if you could animate the background. I don't know if you can or not. The blur background. I wonder. Wait, not content animation. Can I drag assets from there? No, you can't drag assets from here. Okay, never mind. I can't see all named widgets. It says this. So the blur background doesn't. I assume it just does it. Maybe it goes out of focus on it. So anyway, I'm waffling again. Sorry. So we have the image. Now you can choose if you want to animate the opacity, or if you want to animate the transformation, or both. You can do that. So I'm gonna just do transformation, and I'm gonna let me go here, change that to 60, and source as time. I like to see in seconds. Some people like to work in frames. I just want it under. Let's say 1 second. Let's say 1 second. Set key. So that's our end key. This is our end keyframe, and our start keyframe. If we go here, we're gonna go to transform, and on the X, I'm gonna slightly drag that value until it's off the screen, and set a key. So update that. Now animates in, animates off. Of course, you can change it if you want it to come up from the bottom or from the top. Entirely up to you. There we go. So we've kind of created this. Pretty straightforward. Nothing, nothing fancy. Hit play, and it's done. So let's just create the blueprint for this. So I'm gonna hit compile, save. Go to our graph, top right. We only need the event construct. We don't need the pre-event and the event tick. All right, can you unpin this? Does it not go away? I don't know if it goes away or not. Anyway, what we want is the animation, right? So here you got variables and then you got animations, and this is the animation we created. Get, right? And what we want to do is we want to, this is actually, we want to do it from the construct and say play animation forward, and then it says which animation, and it's this one. And then you can do the same, play animation reverse. Disconnect that. Oh, sorry. My fault. There we go, like this. And then we need to create a custom event. I was wondering, why did that connect? Because I just dragged out of the same event. We want to add a custom event. I'm going to say put a note down. All right. So this is our custom event called put note down. So that will trigger this, and of course it's the same animation in reverse, like so. Okay. So when we go to interact with our note, it will trigger and play this. And then when we put the note down, we're going to want to reverse it, but we need to put a delay as well. And that'll be 1 second, because when we flip-flop between interacting with the note, we want a slight delay. Okay, and then we're going to just also add here a remove from parent. Remove parent from parent. Okay. And this will stop so when we put the note down, we want to be able to re-enable the movement of the controller, the player controller. We'll do this in a second, you'll see, but this just will remove the parents, which is the look and move inputs, so we can start interacting with our note again. I mean the environment again after we put the note back down. Anyway, so we've created everything we need. We have a animation. We have the logic done for the note, and that's pretty much done. Now let's create the blueprint for it. So that's the widget side done. We're going to go blueprint actor. We're going to create a new blueprint class, actor, and read note. All right. I'm going to double click this, and I'm going to use a plane as the mesh, right? And you can of course assign that texture to it. So if we go to our note texture, I'm going to assign that texture to it. Did it? Oh, I have to create a material from it. Sorry, create a material. Call this note. You may want to change, some of the settings if you don't want it any specular on this. I don't want any specular. Maybe the roughness to 1. There we go. Hit save, and now we can drag that in. I'm so used to other softwares where you just drag a texture in. I should have thought you have to create the material. Anyway, we created the material, and then we're going to scale this up. Okay, nice and big. You can still read it. I mean, if you make it smaller in the scene, maybe you're not able to read it. That's why you have to interact with it. There we go. All right, we have a note. So now let's do the blueprint. So that was the easy part, right? This is not. And if you want, you can go in and make it more complicated. You can have a mesh that, has more polys than this and deform. But just for a piece of paper that's on the desk, a plain, right? You get away with a plain. Anyway, event graph. We want to go to the event graph, and we need to also add our interaction interface, right, to our scene, so we can interact with it. So we go add BPI interaction. So we can press E on it, right? And we can delete these 3. Oop, and we use our interaction. All right. So from here, we want to flip-flop. Flip-flop. All right. And we want to say create a widget from A. So we want to say create widget. All right. And it's going to say what widget do you want to create, right? And we know it is, if we go here into our, where's our widget folder? Widgets is called read note. So read note. This is the one we want. And then we want to say add to viewport. All right. And then from here, we want to get the player controller. And from out of the get player controller, we want to say set ignore look and move. So we want these 2. So we'll do one at a time. But this will stop us from, if I hit compile save, so you can see, if I drop this in, it should work. Oh, not that one. Blueprints. There we go. Read note. It should work, but however, the note will just stay on screen, and I can still walk around I'll just hit play. It doesn't matter. I don't need to place it right now perfectly. Just to show you. Give it a second. Alright. So I go E, it pops open, and then it stays stuck here, and I can walk around. So we don't want when you're reading, we don't want the player to be able, I mean, you can, maybe you want the player to be able to move around, but I mean, look around but not move. It's up to you entirely what you want to do. But I would say you can lock it in place, and then when they press E again, it will then, disappear. Let's put this on the wall or something like this. Let's put this. Might as well place it right now. 0, 90. There we go. So we have a clue on the wall. Anyway, let's go back into the blueprint. So here, what I was saying, set ignore, and we want to say look, and place it up here, and the same set ignore move input, and we're going to just chain these together, like so. And then from here, we want to use we want our custom event, from the read note. We go in here in the graph. This put note down. So put the note down. We're going to get it from here. So we need to get, which is the read note, which I just showed you, the widget. We want to say get our custom note, which is put note down, that function. So we're going to say we'll call that to reverse the animation, and this will come from B, of course. Right, and then we can copy these two. Control C, Control V, like so, and this will go into here, like so, and also make sure these are checked. So these are this disables them, and then this re-enables them. All right, and our target for these targets need to go into the same player controller. Boom, and boom. Let's move those up. There we go, nice and clean. And hit compile, save, and let's test this. I don't need to do anything to that. Hit play. All right, let's walk up to this. E, and I can't walk around. I have to press E again, and now I can interact. So, through silent, I stand. My gaze holds the key. Turn my sight to set the secret free. Set secret free. Then you go up to your little thing, and we have our secret door. There you go. So you can see we're starting to build the game mechanics. You can see I took the specular off. You might want to add a normal map to that. So it reacts to some of the lightings. Depends on how you want to do it. I'll leave the material side up to you and how you want to make your note. I just took the specular off and put the roughness, so it's just set to 1. Of course, like I said, it doesn't. Maybe you don't want the player to be able to read the note like that, but you can. It's still readable, but I made it small. You can place it on a desk. You can place it wherever you want. Let's go back. So I can see there's a note here. Boom. There you go. Boom. And maybe you want to speed that animation up. Maybe it feels too slow. Maybe it's too fast. Like I said. And let's just put this over. Whoops. Not put it over there, but let's put it on this blue box over here. Oops. Eventually I'll get there. There we go. And then let's add our sound. We'll add our sound, okay? Next. Right, yeah, there you go. So let's go into our blueprint of the note. Yeah. And we can add play sound at. Oh, just move these two across. So we can just say play sound, play sound. So yeah, play sound at location, and again, if you want on here, play sound at location, and then it says what's the location? The location will be on. We can say that it's on the piece of paper, and we can just say get world, get world location. There we go, and we can feed this in to our location here. Boom and boom, and then of course it's going to say your assets. I can't remember what we called that sound, but it was SFX paper pickup. SFX, there you go, paper pickup. SFX, paper pickup, compile, save, and if we close this and go play, there's our note, you can see it there. Alright. It's not the best sound, like I said, but it works. We're starting to build a game. It's not the best, but it will get you started. Like I said. Okay, let's move some of these cubes by destroying. And if we want to say, as we pick this up, for example, the same way we destroyed these cubes, remember in our very first video, where we say destroy actor, we can say destroy actor as well as you pick it up. If you wanted, to be honest, you don't really need to, but yeah, it's as well, you can do that. Or you can change the visibility, set visibility off and on. Maybe we do that. Let's see. Instead of destroying that. Yeah, that makes sense to destroy it. It could be that you read it once and then that's it. That's your only clue. It's up to you. But let's go back to the blueprint. So here we can just from this. Actually, we can just copy it. Just copy it over here. Paste it down here. Set visibility. All right. Copy. Paste. Oh, copying the wrong one. Repasting that. There we go. Copy this again. Paste. Okay. And then we can just turn it off and on the visibility of the plane. Boom. Boom. So if you go here, visibility, you can see it's already checked true. So we want it to, so when we go to click it, we want that off, and then we want this one on. Pile. What does it say? Error. Oh, there's no target. I forgot to link this. Compile. Save. Go play. Let's go walk up to that note. And it disappears because it's now in our hand. And it reappears. There you go. And of course you can put a delay on that visibility if you want. So you can wait 1 second before it reappears. Where is it? Go back to here. So we can go here. Delay. Let's say 0.8. Because I know the animation's 1 second, but I'll just say 0.8. There you go. Compile, save. And that's it. We should be done for now. So I'll leave it there with you to do what you like with it. Hopefully it was useful. I know, like I said, it's not the best sound effect. It's not the best, texture, but If I press E again, then it reappears. So almost, you could wait the 1 second for it to pop back in, but I don't mind doing that. There you go. Here we go. So hopefully, this is, like I said, helpful. If it was, hit like, share, subscribe. Enjoy your day, morning, evening, and night. Thank you again. Bye bye.